Welcome back, you guys. I'm FC. This is Willian Stevie, and today I'm here to bring you guys another News Daily video. Now for today's video, I'm going to focus on 3 stories for today. They are going to be on the news surrounding Oblak. I'll be speaking about Nagelsmann's comments about Timo Werner after their recent win against Atleti Madrid in the quarterfinal of the UCL. It was definitely a very interesting quote he made, and I think it's worth discussing and breaking down. And for the final story, of course, Willian today has officially signed for Arsenal on a 3-year deal and contract. So we have a ton of things to speak about for today, you guys. However, before I continue on, if you like today's video, smash that like button. I'm going to go over 3,500 likes for today's video. And for the final plug, if you're already planning to make purchases for the new home season kit, away kit, or training gear, I'm your guy. In the description below, you guys, if you use my affiliate links, you get access to my discount codes NINI10 to get 10% off your order. What are you waiting for? I'm here to hook you guys up. And without wasting no more time, we start with the first story for today. And I think it's best we start with Nagelsmann's comments that he made about Timo Werner after that game last night. Last night, RB Leipzig reached the semi-finals of this year's UCL by beating Atleti Madrid 2-1. It was an amazing, incredible achievement for them. I thought that they were a team that deserved to go through in the end. However, last night, naturally, Timo Werner's name was doing the rounds on social media. But one of the main reasons why this was the case was based on comments and quotes made by RB Leipzig manager Nagelsmann. And before I continue on, I'm going to play you guys the clips from the comments made by Nagelsmann last night.
And you asked the players to step up and fill that hole that had been left by Timo Werner. And you've got young players and they've done that tonight.
Well, I'm very happy. As I told you before the game, it's not the opponents perhaps are not the best opponent for Timo Werner because there's not a lot of space behind the defense line. And today we decided to play with 3 offensive midfielders and to create the spaces between the lines. And all the 3 midfielders did it very well.
Now, is this clip proof that Nagelsmann may be feeling bitter about how Werner left RB Leipzig? Of course, Leipzig are still in the UCL. They're still challenging to try and win that trophy, and Werner had the possibility to stay with them. But instead of doing that, you guys, he decided to leave early and join up with the squads. Also, are Nagelsmann's comments correct? Is Werner really this limited? And would you have struggled against Atleti Madrid in yesterday's game, considering that he was their top goal scorer of the season before he left? Is Nagelsmann implying that he would not have played Werner in that game last night if Werner was still at the club? I'm not too sure, you guys. And most importantly, is this proof that Werner may not be as good as we think? Maybe he's a bit more limited than we realise, and Nagelsmann is basically telling us what to expect in advance. Now for me, you guys, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on this, and let's get one thing straight. Nagelsmann right now is one of the best tacticians in world football. Since Werner has worked under him, he's really helped improve and make Werner's game become more complete. Werner became even more comfortable playing in the final third, especially playing in between the lines. However, with Nagelsmann's comments, he was implying that without that space between the lines, Werner's game is quite limited, and in that sense, I see where he's coming from. Now, one thing we need to realise was how Nagelsmann used Werner in his tactical setup. A lot of times Werner was drifting mainly down the left-hand side, picking up positions down that left-hand side as well. And the main reason for this was that down the left-hand side, space was created for Werner to utilise his amazing pace. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, is this complete proof that Werner is quite limited and maybe he isn't the player we thought he is? You guys, that is definitely not the case. And one thing that I really want to stress, and I say this because this is something we have to embrace ourselves for and prepare ourselves for the next season. Next season, it won't be about playing your best 11, your best individual 11 every single game, week in, week out. In modern day football, you guys, rotation is something that's key and is something that is important. From next season, the plan with the lineup is going to be to use the best possible 11 depending on the opponents we're about to play for next season. That's what it's going to be about, you guys, and that's one of the main reasons why Lampard has targeted players that can fulfill so many different tactical roles, needs, and play in different positions and are comfortable playing in different systems. Now, originally, it wasn't due to the fact that, let's say for example, first team players are injured and then backup players who can play different utility roles can fill those positions. It's never been about that. the reason why Lampard wants a balanced squad, a strong quality squad, is due to the fact that, as I'm stressing again, from next season, you guys, it's going to be about using the best possible 11 depending on opponents we're playing against. So from next season, you guys, expect to see Werner playing down the left hand side of a front three, playing up front at times, and even playing up front alongside another striker too. Now, we move on to the second story for today, and I want to speak about the latest news surrounding Jan Oblak and a potential move to our club in this window. Now, yesterday Oblak was interviewed by AS, and of course this interview was based on Atletico's upcoming game against Leipzig last night. Now, of course, you guys, we know what the final score was. Atletico Madrid are out, and what makes that interview interesting yesterday was that Oblak categorically stated and said that he won't be discussing anything to do with his future until after that game. Now, what makes this interview even more interesting is that over the past 24-48 hours, you guys, news came out suggesting that Atletico Madrid will be signing a new goalkeeper from the Russian league. His name is Ivo Gribic, he's 24 years old, and he plays for Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, based on things that I've been reading, because of course, you guys, I'm not watching the Russian league. Now, from what I'm reading, it seems like he's seen as the best goalkeeper in the Russian league. So based on his age at 24 years old and his credentials too, could this be the successor to Jan Oblak at Atletico Madrid? Now, you guys know I'm not about gassing stories up. You know, I do my research, I take my time, I care about finding the right info and context for you guys. And the reality is, Atletico Madrid will be selling Adan, and naturally they need a backup goalkeeper. However, signing a quality young goalkeeper in Gribic implies also that if anything happened with Jan Oblak, he could be a potential successor. Now, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on this story. As I stress all the time, Oblak now is currently 27 years old, and a lot of times when players reach this age, when they reach their prime years, they become more selfish based on their careers. They come to that realization that their career isn't too far from finishing right now, and then they look at the trophies they've won in their cabinet. A lot of these guys realize that based on their ability, they should have a lot more to show for things, and right now Atletico Madrid are proving that, you know, there's a final hurdle that they just can't jump over. And for me personally, I think it comes down to tactics, because now teams are much better at coping against Atletico Madrid's amazing defensive setup. If you're Jan Oblak, and again you're coming third, fourth in the league, you know, you're getting close to winning trophies that you're not getting at all, you come to that realization that maybe it is time to move on and look towards better things. Now let's come back down to reality. Because the reality is, you guys, if any move was to happen for Oblak, it's going to fully depend on what happens with Kepa. If we are able to find a great deal that allows us to get him off our books, and even potentially involving a deal that involved Kepa moving to Atletico Madrid in hopes to bring down the overall fee for Oblak, the reality states that it is going to take a miracle, an absolute miracle, to sign Oblak in this window. However, it seems that the club aren't put off at this point in time, and hopefully they can find a financially intelligent way to maybe spread the cost a bit to raise those extra funds to fund the move for an Oblak. Of course, it is quite difficult. Oblak recently signed a new 4-year deal in 2019 in April, and currently he's earning wages of about £8.7 million a year. Considering that he has a release clause at over 100 million too, Oblak would be a ridiculously expensive goalkeeper. His player cost per year would be absolutely outstanding at around 25 million. But my question for you guys is Oblak worth this type of money? And for me, you guys, I think he is. I think Oblak personally is a top 3 goalkeeper in the world, and whenever you invest in buying anyone that's top 3 in anything, you know they're going to cost a hell of money. Now I think to myself, could there be a way possibly to finance a deal like this? Considering we're looking at players like your Declan Rice's and your Ben Chilwell's, you know, considering the fact too that if we were to sign both, this would cost over 130 million in transfer fees, which of course is something we're hoping that we can't do. But consider the fact that if we sacrifice maybe one of these two players, signed a cheaper alternative, because right now in this market there are quality alternatives for a fraction of the price right now. If we found ways to spread the cost, would Oblak still be worth that type of investment? And for me, you guys, I personally think so. I think with goalkeepers like this, especially as we're seeing in modern day football, they really weigh their price in goals. These keepers at this level are basically get out jail free cards, and they make the decisive difference every single game. And these are the guys that make the decisive difference when it comes to the knockout round style of games. Oblak has proven over the years that he's saved Atletico Madrid time and time again. And if you consider another hypothetical, that let's say we can't find a move for a big name centre back, maybe it would make sense to then turn to an Oblak, knowing that, okay, we might be keeping the same defence, however, we are dramatically, exponentially improving that defence by having one of the very best goalkeepers in the world playing behind them. For me, you guys, I think these are all the hypotheticals and questions the club and the board are currently deciding about, currently thinking about, and currently thinking what's the best course of action to do. This could be an impossible deal, but I think it's one of them ones where you have to wait and see what happens as this window continues on. And now to end things with the final story for today. News came out earlier this morning officially announcing that Willian has signed for Arsenal on a 3-year deal worth 220k per week. Now, there is some controversy behind this deal, and that's the fact that recently, over the past few weeks, Arsenal officially announced that they are releasing 55 staff members to help clear the books because they're reprioritizing how they're allocating their funds. Arsenal board want to prioritize more on signing players and, paying for their wages instead of the ordinary man who plays an important part collectively as a unit in helping to run a club. For me, you guys, of course, I had something to say on social media when I saw this. I thought it was an absolute disgrace considering there's so much money in this game too. Honestly, even if there is some business sense, some accounting sense behind this, personally as a human being, I just can't accept it, and it makes no sense to me. Now, I know players and their, wages have been used against them, but for me, I think the correct context is that they are fair comparisons to make. They really are. The players aren't villains. It's not their fault that this industry is like this. For me, as I've been criticizing time and time again, I feel like the game is becoming a lot more corporatized. In the game right now, we're seeing a lot of foreign investors coming in to help make a profit, flip players on, get personal deals. We're seeing so many ex-lawyers, bankers, whatever, getting big positions at clubs as well. So for me, it's no surprise that they bring their corporate mindsets and mentalities with them and integrate those philosophies at the clubs they're currently working at. Now, Arsenal players, of course, when this news was released, were visibly upset. They all took pay cuts to help out with the situation. And let's also not forget that Willian has also done his part at this club as well, of course taking a pay cut and of course contributing towards paying towards charities as well during this COVID climate. So I hope people aren't going to use maybe their dislike for Willian, which is entitled if you don't like that style of player, I get that. But hopefully that doesn't get used against him because of course there's nothing Willian can do in conditions like this. For me, I still personally feel it's a shame that we couldn't keep Willian. As I've said before too, even if we gave him a 3-year deal and let's say from next season he wasn't really going to play much, you have a sellable asset that you can flip and make money from. Willian's a pro that keeps himself very fit, and today, this whole nonsense that once you pass 30 your career is just going downhill, it's not like that anymore. And I feel like it's one of those things that a lot of us have to update our minds around, because Willian, for me, on a free, is a good piece of business from Arsenal. Who's going to help them exponentially in the final third. He's going to bring that balance that they're sorely lacking, that ability to press from the front foot too, and that ability to keep their shape defensively off the ball. It's a smart signing to make, and it feels weird to even try and say good luck Willian because, I'm still a Chelsea fan, you guys, and you know what? Am I going to be wishing a player good luck if they're playing for Arsenal? I mean, maybe. Arsenal aren't going to be reaching top 4 anytime soon, so maybe, good luck to Willian. But there you have it, you guys. That was the news daily video for today. There might be another video coming out later today. No promises. I'm going to see what I can do. But on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.